Assalamualaikum and good morning. Today, me, Nur Amiza Hazwani and my team, Nur Farah Wahida, Nurul Natasha, and Muhammad Fawis Mirza are going to present about issue and challenge mental health in Malaysia. So we are going to start with introductions. Did you know every 40 seconds happens, suicide takes place somewhere in the world while you taking tea or watching Netflix? Lately, mental health are not given any attention or aware about people on our surroundings. Aligning with the progress towards a developing country, mental health problems, or in other words, called mental illnesses, have become on the rise and an increased issue we pass by. Not to mention that, due to the rise of COVID-19, it has affected all sectors including financial crisis, as it was consistently declining the cost of many lost on their jobs. Therefore, more yet to be experiencing depression and frustration going on in order to survive their unlucky lives. It was found that a massive increase in suicide rates and mental illness over the past decade in Malaysia. What the traits happen in each person's life. Hence, it is significant for Malaysian government to take precautions and action of the issues of mental illness and the challenges faced by people with mental health problems, as in the proverb say that actions speak louder than words. Overall, what I want to convey is that lately, there has been a lot of focus given to mental health. There is no official term or a fixed definition of mental health. Cultural differences, subjective assessments, and professional theories have influenced how many mental health is defined. Mental health is a procedure state in which an individual is aware of his or her abilities, is able to handle stress well, work productively, and contribute to society. This means that mental health is fundamental to the well-being of individuals and the ability of society to function effectively. Mental health is an emotional expression and symbolizes the ability to adapt to various stresses and demands of life. In my opinion, there is no clear defining line in this situation between those who have got mental health or those who do not. Overall, what I want to convey is that lately, there has been a lot of focus given to mental health. There is no official term or a fixed definition of mental health. Cultural differences, subjective assessments, and professional theories have influenced how many mental health is defined. Mental health is a procedure state in which an individual is aware of his or her abilities, is able to handle stress well, work productively, and contribute to society. This means that mental health is fundamental to the well-being of individuals and the ability of society to function effectively. Mental health is an emotional expression and symbolizes the ability to adapt to various stresses and demands of life. In my opinion, there is no clear defining line in this situation between those who have got mental health or those who do not. There are many levels in mental health and no single criterion that can be used to prove good mental health. No individual has all the characteristics of good mental health at all. It depends a lot on individual, social, and environmental factors. There are several social, psychological, and biological factors which determine a person's level of mental health at any one time. Mental health can be affected due to socio-economic problems, sudden change in environmental or social conditions, stress in the workplace, and physical illness. The individual is affected either socially or environmentally. Based on the discussion above, we conclude that mental health can affect anyone at any circumstances. There are many levels in mental health and no single criterion that can be used to prove good mental health. No individual has all the characteristics of good mental health at all. It depends a lot on individual, social, and environmental factors. There are several social, psychological, and biological factors which determine a person's level of mental health at any one time. Mental health can be affected due to socio-economic problems, sudden change in environmental or social conditions, stress in the workplace, and physical illness. The individual is affected either socially or environmentally. Based on the discussion above, we conclude that mental health can affect anyone at any circumstances.
Okay, so content of the report. I want to explain about a few brief, about content of the report. So the review of previous research accomplished several purposes. It shows to reader that the issue and challenges of mental health in Malaysia are getting serious. There are people who has been commit suicide due to extreme depression. There are so many types of mental health, but the most common are depression and anxiety. However, some of people still don't know the real definition of that mental illness, such as schizophrenia, manic disorder, bipolar disorder, and depression. Moreover, in that article, also tell us that mental health in Malaysia can be categorized by religions and their own belief. They are held from many factors, from example, age, income, social status, and lifestyle. In some, there are some issues and challenges about mental health in Malaysia that we can summarize in this report. On going through the article, we learn briefing about mental health is no crime and it needs treatment and guidance by professional in mental health concern. People with this problem should go check on their current condition, how they are doing from time to time to curb their mental state from getting insubordinate. Not only unstable mental state pressurize someone's life badly, but also could leading them to depress and anxious all the time. Plus, the informative by Muhammad Faisal and his colleague do res- do research do research and explaining about type mental health that came to existence since many years ago. In addition to this matter, they inform of how it should be treated and struggles in walking up our consciousness in this no joke situation to our society. Not to mention, they as well are doing analysis ongoing data referred to mental health problem in Malaysia. And in addition, in explaining on each challenges of mental health works, besides, a group of researchers also describe what triggered the mental health disorder itself in the first place. From the experience reading itself, lessons talk about a major problem that causes the difficulty is lack of awareness. They stated these people might have experienced certain level of cognitive dissonance within themselves, in the sense that they will not admit themselves suffering from mental illness despite the obvious symptoms. To be clear, they are tend to bury the pain even they are deeply disturbed and subject the feeling to be numb. Furthermore, need not to say that to conserve this issue is by slowly taking care of closest one who shows any symptoms mental health about mental unwell being, like in the article said. A part of doing this could save an important life before any regrets happen, because prevent is better than cure. That's all for content of the report for me. Okay, on to the next one.
Next is about the issue from this article. The issue then that we can find in this article is about rising trend of mental illness, work-related stress, and negative economic impact. On the issue about rising trend of mental illness, we can see that it become more increased from the typical Malaysian. This is because typical Malaysian is like to give pressure and ignore people with mental illness. Then it can lead to isolation and lack of support to the people with mental illness. There are also some example that we can do to change their mind about mental health. For example, the government should organize a campaign about what is mental health. The students should design a poster about the risk of mental health, and all people need to spread the awareness about mental health via social media, television, and radio. By this, by this, by this By this, it can help some people to open their mind and take it as a serious issue. Moreover, mental health also can be start from the workplace. This is because workers will be more tired and stressed due to the paperwork. So workers and the environment of workplace. This is because workers will be more tired and stressed due to the paperwork, worker and the environment of workplace. We can take it as example from the popular worldwide problem nowadays, which is COVID-19 pandemic. It all starts from the workers getting fired because of quarantine or working from home. They will feel so stressed because they can't find any solution or any environment, the same environment like before, and they cannot have any freedom again. Then it can lead to a depression and lack of motivation. In that way, too, it affects our economy. It is because people with mental health do not have any motivation to start their day and feel like there's no one for them. Also prefer to isolate at home, doesn't want to do anything, and they can feel any emotion. So some company or workplace do not have enough staff, and it can affect our social economy. Other than that, we can also find it in that article that said about mental disorder also affect the level of productivity as it relates to the economic impact due to treatment costs. It had been happened to some countries such as Canada and China. Lastly, we can conclude that mental health not only gives impact to us at workplace but also the country itself. Next, about the challenge.
Other than that, the challenges that have been provided in the articles are lack of awareness and inherent stigma and policy insurance. Firstly, we can take a look about this stigma. This is because the problems of stigma and misunderstanding have also been revealed by other studies. Fears of stigma and concluding that is one of the barriers to the effectiveness of mental health services. The author also says that stigma is a negative perception that creates prejudice which leads to stereotype and discrimination among a group of people. Moreover, from the mental illness perspective, stigma has been identified as a significant barrier to help seeking and care. Moreover, from the mental illness perspective, stigma has been identified as a significant Moreover, from the mental illness perspective, stigma has been identified as a significant barrier to help seeking and care. It is interesting to review the relationship between the mental illness and stigma and measure the influence. Based on article that I have read, other challenge that mental health patient needs to cooperate is lack of policy insurance. This happened because most of the insurance companies didn't recognize mental health as part of the ills that need proper treatment. Moreover, it can lead to be a reason why people with mental health problem didn't want to seek for any help. As a proof, after several years, there are few insurance companies have decided to add mental health coverage in their policies. The outcome from that, suicide rate has been reduced. Just by adding mental illness coverage, it already gives many benefits to society. Also, I agree with with other because awareness of mental health among the people in this country is still lacking. There are still many who lack of awareness of mental health to the point of discriminating against individuals who face this problem. Some even label the mental some even label the mentally illness as violent, insane, unable to independent, like faith, and so on, which result in them continuing to be depressed and distancing themselves from society. Therefore, proper knowledge regarding mental health needs to be enhanced to provide awareness to the society. The conclusion is, in summary, Malaysians' awareness about mental health is getting better than before, but that doesn't mean that we should stop spreading about how important mental health is. The reason for keeping spreading is because there are still people out there who think mental health are not a serious thing and they even make fun of it. After all, we need to know all the action and how to help those who are facing mental health problem, like how the issues and challenges that have been discussed in this report. For instance, we need to pay attention people around us because we will never know who are trying to seek for help. Also, the most important is don't judge them, but we must help them. Also, the most important is don't judge them, but we must help those people. This is because they are one who needs support the most. Lastly, no matter what happened, we need to convince and encourage people who have mental health to meet a therapist. We need to make sure that their feelings are valid and there are some people who always by their side. The most important is we as a Malaysian need to change our mindset about mental health and do not easily jump to any conclusion about something that is not true. We need to give them a hope and trust them, especially as a parent. Last not least, we as Malaysians, we need to take these issues about mental health in serious way so that it can decrease the number of people with mental health problems. Thank you.
Okay, that's all from our group. Thank you.